This is our second part to the AI module. In the first part, we learned what AI can and can't do and what applications are ideal for it. In this section, we will show you how to guide your text generator AI so it will generate a content that better fits your specific contents and needs. What you see here is just a taster of the skills we offer in AI personalization for our cohort-based synchronous bootcamp. Remember to check out our free webinar coming soon, and please join our cohort-based bootcamp, which spans a course of 3 weeks and teaches you how to develop a full tool belt in using and integrating AI with other emerging technologies like VR and cryptocurrency. You can find the link to these opportunities down in the description to the video.
So let's dive in. Let's navigate to https mesopotamia.ai. And when you get there, if you haven't already, form an account. So let's get you started doing some stuff. You should be looking at the front screen. So what I want us to start with is go up to text. Great. So you might have used this before. I'm gonna start with the simplest one and then slowly unfold outward. So on the poetry generator, just try this. Come in and put in a couple of words, anything that you like, and let's see what comes out. Okay, so I chose to put in ekphrastic writing to see if it could come up with something, and it did. Says ekphrastic writing is like a magic key which can unlock the door to another world, a world of beauty and truth that is hidden from our sight. With ekphrastic writing, we see things as they really are, not as we imagine them to be. Ekphrastic writing is like a bridge that connects two different worlds, the world of the artist and the world of the reader. It is a way of seeing that is different from our usual way of seeing, a way that is more open, more honest, and more true. Ekphrastic writing is a way of seeing that can change our lives. Okay, so it's clear that it understands what ekphrastic writing is and that it's writing a poem about it. Something we can do in blank canvas is you see there's that gear icon. So here's where we can start to modulate kind of text that comes out of here. So we have things like randomness. If you turn up the randomness really high, it almost starts to like hallucinate. It gets like very, very creative, but what comes out is very unreliable. And like 1 out of 20 might be really interesting, but then 19 out of 20 might be like total garbage. Things like repetitiveness and subject change force it to like not use words that came before or to use words. And let's just take that maximum length and put it up higher so that we're getting more out. Let's take the randomness and like pull that up like a little, like, let's just pull that up really high just to see what happens. Okay, this is a little better. Yeah, I think for creative writing, pulling the temperature up is like much more interesting. What I'm trying to indicate for you here is that you can create so I think just to review, what we're doing here is creating your own generator in that I'm trying to help you understand how you can take the samples that you already have and the ways you can use that to force the text generator to create things that are like it or not like it in a reliable or unreliable way. And as we're finding out, sometimes you don't want it to be too reliable. And the reality might be that like Mesopotamia doesn't give you the results that you want. You might want to pull the same prompt over into GPT-3 at beta.openai.com because all of the models will give you something a little bit different in terms of like the kinds of text. For me with poetry, I love writing poetry by hand. What did I think was fun about this? The fact that I could create 20,000 love poems. Some of them were great, some of them weren't, and some of them descended into boring repetition. But hey, that's love for you. So it's all about finding like the part of it that works for you and the way that it works for you. It doesn't mean that these things have to be used in all places. There's a pleasure to writing that's separate from the actual output. And there's kinds of writing where this maybe should or shouldn't be used because it detracts or adds to the meaning. But now you know with any one of the generators that we have there, how you would create your own generator. This won't work in the create template, but if you're in the blank canvas, you can sometimes try and tell it what you want with more specificity. So this is, you can just see what it produces. The following is a series of flash fiction stories. They're this game of like, you could have your examples and then have something at the top, and then it'll come through. These are not going to be as reliably parameterized, but it's because I'm giving it less context. And then so if it's not giving it what I want, I can come in here and kind of like edit the description. The game is, if I found this on the internet, what would have come right before it? The Create just provides like a structured template, because when you come into Blake Canvas, what most people do is they just like type in 1 or 2 sentences, and then they're like, why isn't it doing it what I want? But if you, in here, this allows you to get really reliable, stable outputs. So you might have to come in here and play with the prompt quite a bit to like get what you want. But at the end of the day, what you get out here is going to like really be stable. And so this is for if you're like creating an app or something that had like a generative aspect, you'd want to make sure that every time it comes out, it was really stable. You can pull it over into blank canvas if you want more control, but we try and have layers for people where it's like you start with the one that's only 2 words, and then you move to the template. And then if you want even more control, you move to blank canvas. We're going to walk through this by going to this section here that says create. So if you go to the create button, you're going to see something pop up that looks like this. You should see, I've filled mine in here, but you should see boxes that say title 1, article 1, title 2, article 2, title 3, article 3, and then title 4. I'm going to tell you a secret, and you can't tell anyone else or we'll be ruined. Behind every single one of these text generators, the poems, the blog posts, the future forecast, the tequila cocktail recipes, and the plant protein beverages recipe generator are all only 3 writing samples in the same format. And so using this structure, whether it's GPT-3 or the one that we use on the back end, which is open source, GPT Neo X, Bloom, Cohere, it doesn't matter. You can use this same structure in the same pattern to create reliable parameterized outputs that are along the same thing every time, but on your topic. So for me, I'll tell you what I mean by this. I wanted to create a poetry generator. So what I needed was 3 poems with 3 titles. And then I come in and I slot them in, Ode to My Socks, and then this Ode to My Socks from Pablo Neruda. This is literally exactly what's on the back end of the poetry generator we just used. Then Ode to the Present and his poem, Ode to the Present. Ode to the Artichoke, and then this poem, Ode to the Artichoke. So what's on the back end of that poetry generator is Ode to your user input. So I come in here and I put Ode to ekphrastic writing, and then it microwaves inside of the internet, and it generates a poem. So this is how you move from using text generators to creating a text generator that's narrower and in the style of writing that you want. And so the more consistent the inputs are, the more consistent the outputs are. Doesn't mean the outputs won't be interesting, but if you're going for something reliable and consistent, that's what you should go for. Yeah, the three things should be the same as the ideal situation is that the 3 things are the same in every way but one. So all 3 of these are odes by Pablo Neruda, and they are different in terms of their topic. I could have instead all 3 poems be on the same topic, but by different artists. So I could have like an ode about socks by Pablo Neruda, an ode about socks by Bell Hooks, an ode about socks by Saul Williams. And then in that generator, I would put in the name of a poet, and it would generate a poem about socks in the style of that poet. And so in what you're seeing on the poem one is all we've done is simply hidden from you this top part. And then your 2 words go right here.